So caregivers are can be in a very difficult role because they're seeing the kids and may not necessarily know how to fix the situation or fix a problem that they see. So I think it's really important for them to understand that there are steps that they can take and they have options that they can help to escalate a situation as need be. The first thing would be to be able to talk to the parent and just have a non-judgmental, non-confrontational conversation and just understand from the parent's perspective what might be happening in the home. So asking questions are very open-ended and not accusatory. You don't want to go to the parent and say, hey, you're not feeding your child enough, or hey, you're doing something wrong here. You want to approach them and say, hey, I'm curious, how is your son's appetite? Do they eat a lot when they're at home? Do you have any concerns around what they're eating? Do they tend to skip meals? How are they doing? Or you might say, I've just been noticing that when your daughter is playing with the other kids, that she's not as interested. Is something happening at home? Have you been noticing the same thing at home? And just really open and create a space for them to have that conversation. They might really welcome actually the opportunity to talk about their children and talk about their circumstance. And so that from there can leave the door open for you to suggest that they go speak with a social worker or a psychologist or a medical professional that might be available to them. Another thing to think about is also if you do see that the child might be ill or might require some additional medical attention, to just bring it to the attention of the parents first and just let them know and say, hey, I just noticed that, your son has a rash, where did that come from? Or have you been noticing that he's been getting more rashes lately? And just open that conversation and recommend that they go to the doctor with them. If you notice that the parent is maybe resistant or isn't willing to have the conversation, there might be something else happening at home that they're not as open about having the conversation, or they feel defensive. I think it's important to also understand who within the community would be the person to go to. If you have access to social workers, they're often the best first line because they're really familiar with the culture, with the environment, and with the availability of resources. So they would be the first person to talk to about a situation if you're unsure how to approach it, or if you're noticing that the parent is resistant to finding additional support or talking about the issue.